welcome to another episode of Yoga Rebels. I'll have you say your name first this time.
Lauren.
I'm Lauren. And I'm Burgundy. And today, I don't know really what to call this topic, but I like what you just said.
Off camera.
Yoga is not a panacea.
Yeah.
So this came up because over the course of this is years and years of having conversations with people about yoga, and personal experience and talking with students. But yoga is not the only thing. I don't want to say yoga is not the only thing you should do. I don't like that sentence, but that is what I mean. Actually,
we add in the shoulds. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate using should, but I kind of mean what I just said.
Right. I think what we were wanting to talk about was that yoga by itself is not enough to keep your whole body, I would say, running optimally.
Because you need cardio. There's no cardio in yoga. So for example, if you live in, I don't know, India, if you live in a European country or someplace that's not the United States, where you're actually, part of your life is getting you cardio because you're walking a whole lot,
right.
You're having to climb mountains to get to places, I mean, that's going to be built into your lifestyle.
Right.
But since we don't have those things, and we are a very overweight country.
Very sedentary. Yeah,
very sedentary.
Those countries where people are doing more walking as their transportation tend to have better longevity too. Those people tend to live longer, and in our country, and I definitely include myself in that, just because of school and work and things like that, requires being seated for a good chunk of the day. So if you're seated the majority of the day, and then you go to a 1 hour yoga class, that's 1 hour out of all of those hours that you've been sitting or maybe standing. I mean, not everybody has a sedentary job, but a big majority of people do.
But it's still not cardio,
Right.
Aaron, and I'm pointing behind the camera because he's behind the camera. You can't see him. Working at Home Depot ages ago, would walk miles probably a day.
Or nurses.
Sure, yes, but it's still not cardio. You need that consistent, 20 minutes plus. What is it, 100? Would you say 180 minutes?
So the FDA has recommended for a few years 150 minutes per week.
Yeah.
And then strength training 2 to 3 times a week, and then some amount of higher intensity. I think I'm actually getting these numbers right, and I feel really good about that. I think it's 75 minutes of some kind of high intensity stuff. So you want, your heart is a muscle, and if you want a muscle to get stronger, you need to use it more. And I think even in a faster paced yoga class, it might increase, but it's not consistent.
Right.
So you could do a fast yoga class, but you're probably going to do something fast, and then be in down dog, and then get your heart rate back to where it is. So it's not that it's not good for you. So I think that's where people are why even bother?
Right. Right. I mean, I kind of liken it to, although I love bagels, I can't just live on bagels alone. Yeah. I could certainly try, but I wouldn't be healthy, and honestly, I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, my freshman year of college, I think I accidentally tried that. It did not go great.
That and ramen.
Ramen and bagels,
But so when it comes to yoga, I want to say some sort of blanket statements. Yoga is not cardio. And so just as a test, so a couple of things. You were wearing your hoochie butt watch, and you went to a yoga class the other day. How many calories did you burn?
I think it said 8.
Woo!
My heart rate didn't go above 70 because it was not a power class, it wasn't a vinyasa class, it wasn't anything like that. It was, holding the poses for longer. There was strength work involved, but then, say I was in chair pose, I probably maxed out at 90 beats per minute or something like that. It wasn't getting into that cardio threshold, which I think think when we talk about stuff like this, people are like, oh man, and then it feels kind of defeatist. But cardio doesn't have to be torture. It can be something like it can be taking a walk every day.
A brisk walk.
A brisk walk every day. I think that's where people get kind of frustrated. When they want yoga to be cardio, and they want yoga to be strength training because they don't want to do other stuff, or they're intimidated by other stuff, or they're like, I like this, and I want it to be a panacea. I want it to, keep me, healthy and in a good weight and all these things. And in some ways it can, but there's still other things that you have to be doing behind the scenes. It's like almost like a complementary or supplementary thing to your other fitness stuff. Like that's how I think of it.
And
it's
what
like
we're talking about
to it.
Yes, and what we're talking about is yoga asana. So here we're adding to the confusion of what is yoga, because yoga, in my mind, yoga is a lifestyle. So I try to practice yoga all day, every day, and that means being mindful about my decisions. I'm trying to be mindful and present when I'm breathing, when I'm doing all sorts of things. Doesn't mean I am, but that's my practice. Yoga is meditation. Yoga is breathing exercises. So it's a lot of things. But what we're talking about here is the combination of all of that as a sort of foundation that can be strength, can help build your lung capacity. So my pranayama, my breathing exercises, help build my lung capacity. And the pranayama exercises, the breathing practices, the more oxygen that you're getting in, it's going through your blood. Your lungs are pushing the oxygen into your blood and into your bloodstream, and this is getting into your muscles, your bones, your brain. It's helping with cognition. So frequently throughout the day, we're not taking deep enough breaths, and so for just a regular existence in health and well-being, the breathing and all of that is helpful. However, so what I wanted to share was about 7 years or so ago, so I've been practicing yoga for a very long time, 20 plus years at this point. And it was like Ashtanga, so strength. So I've been very strong. I've had a lot of people compliment me. I remember one time I was at Midwest Photo and some guy was like, you have great shoulders. Are you a swimmer? And I said, no, I practice yoga.
Yeah.
And I feel like, one of the things that I've always said is I wanted to be like a ninja. I want my body to be a lethal weapon.
Yes.
And I can. And I've said this in past videos as well. I don't have a gym membership. I want to be able to push my own body weight around. So I'm not knocking a gym membership, but what I'm saying is I can't handle the commitment of a gym membership. But I like pushing my own body weight around, and I can with my yoga practice. Now, 7 years ago, so I went to Watterson High School, for anybody here in Columbus. So I went to Watterson, graduated in '94. And we had an alumni volleyball tournament. And my graduating class and the one above me, before me, 93 and 94, we were all grouped together. We were the oldest group. And everybody else that came in for the 93, 94 class, still a bunch of badass women. And they invited me because I used to be really good at volleyball. However, so we're doing like the warm-ups and shit, and oh my God, I was out of breath. And one of my buddies, she had just done Pelotonia the day before, and she's like, whatever, and she's like bumping, spiking, and all this stuff, and I'm like dying, and I'm like, this is it. I am not doing any cardio. And so from that moment forward, I started with Couch to 5K.
I did that too, yeah.
I could honestly work for them. I have wonderful things to say about Couch to 5K. I remember when that woman's voice was like, now we're going to run for 90 seconds. And I'm like, there is no effing way I'm going to run for 90 seconds straight. And I did. And I've run a marathon. I don't know how many half marathons I've run. I've been running with Front Runner for the past 7 years now. And so my practice is I run 3+ times a week. I have my long runs on Sundays. I'm biking to and from the studio, which is a new thing. And then I'm teaching yoga classes, and I have my own personal practice, which probably isn't as much as it should be, but yoga's not the only thing I do.
Right. Yeah, and I'm on the other end of the spectrum of the gym membership thing that you're in. I've been going to the same gym for 10 years.
Good for you.
I've talked about this before. I was abusive with it for a while, and it's kind of has to go through some different stages. But the thing I think that kind of was turned the corner for me was getting into the strength training. So like lifting weights, not just like a little bit of weight, but like really lifting as much as I could safely, and kind of shifting the emphasis to what's going to keep me healthier longer, what's going to keep me from needing a hip replacement, from needing a knee replacement.
Because we need bone density, and the more that we challenge our bones, the stronger they become.
And that was part of it too, is because I started with a lot of running, and I've said in other podcasts that was one of those things that I was really abusing, was I was running too much. I was doing too much to, keep the calorie burn really high, keep the calorie intake really low, and then as a result I ended up with a stress fracture. And as I was going through that process of recovering from that, pretty much every physical therapist was like, so what's your strength training like? And I'm like, oh, I do yoga. And everybody was just like, like, that's it?
Yeah.
You're doing yoga and then you're running all of these miles? Like, you can't do that. So it was very much a wake up call, but it's really stuck for me. So for me, I would say my cardio tends to be hiking and brisk walking. I haven't ever been able to really go back to running, and then lifting weights, and then with the lifting, that can become cardio as well too. So like if anyone's ever done like kettlebell work, like kettlebell swings are, oh my god, do that for 10 minutes and you're probably good for the rest of the day. So those things, I would say, I would back up with the pranayama. So the pranayama for both of us, for lifting weights, for running, it just makes that better. It makes it easier, and then it creates more mindfulness for whatever that sport is too. So I think that's something that people struggle with running, with lifting weights, is they get bored. If you've got a yoga practice, it transfers right over into that other physical activity. So you're paying attention to the muscles that you're using. You're paying attention to what your feet are doing, what your body is doing. You might even be paying attention to your breath in the same way. So it's like you can take those same concepts and carry them over into whatever your thing that you do is.
Yeah. However, to just because one of my students is also on my running team, and he asked, we were running, and he's like, hey, I feel like I'm not getting enough breath breathing through my nose when I'm running, because he was using the yogic breathing exercises.
Yeah, it's different.
So to point out, when you're going through yoga asana, so asanas are the poses, when you're going through that, you're typically breathing through your nose, because that's going to help slow your breath, lengthen it out, kicks in the parasympathetic nervous system. In yoga, you're purposely looking for a long breath. However, when you're doing cardio, you must breathe through your nose mostly, because that's where you're going to get most of your oxygen. You need to have more oxygen intake when you're running. So when you're running with your mouth open. You're a mouth breather.
A little bit.
Yeah. So, and like when I run, so I use the breathing technique of in, out. So what I'm doing with this is my footsteps. This is how I run.
I hope you run like that.
I do. With jazz hands. But so I run with an odd breath, not strange, but an odd numbered breath, where it's for every 3 steps I'm taking 3 breaths in, and then my next 2 steps I'm taking 2 breaths out, so that I'm landing on a different foot when I complete my exhale. Because there is something that I read, that your exhale is like, 16 something. You're putting more body weight, more pressure onto your body on your exhale, and I can't remember the amount that it is, but it's enough that if you had an even numbered breath, you always landed on the right foot, for example.
That's so interesting.
you're going to injure yourself because it's always that all of that weight is landing on the right side. But anyway, so I wanted to throw it in. It was about mouth breathing.
Yeah, the breath is different with powerlifting as well. That was one thing that I had to learn about when I was competing. Is you take that big breath in through the nose. So say you're doing a deadlift, you're reaching down for the barbell on the ground. You fill up with the breath as you come up, and then at the top you let it out really forcefully through your mouth. So you're using the breath with the movement too. So same with a squat. So you get your barbell on your back, you take that big breath in, sit back, and then you exhale to press it up. So using that exhale kind of gives you that extra kind of like oomph to get the barbell ready to go. Yeah,
because you're engaging all these muscles.
That's right. And you breathe in, and a lot of times you'll see people that lift weights with a big belt on. Sometimes it can be to protect the back, but the nice thing, it's more of a I always say this wrong, proprioceptory thing.
Yeah.
You breathe into the belt, you hold that, and you can feel all of those muscles engaging. So you're using your breath to use your muscles to support your entire core so that you're more stable when you're lifting these heavier weights. So it's like yoga crosses over into everything. So it's like, rather than seeing yoga as the thing, the only thing, thinking about it as a complementary, supplementary thing that's going to make all of those other things more enjoyable, safer. It's going to make you recover better for sure, I think.
And I notice today is actually January 6th. I don't know when this video is going to air, but my running season has just started officially today. Today's Sunday. And so we're all training for spring races. And so now is the time when I'm going to start adding more strength poses to my asana practice in order to work on like my gluteus medius. So I'm going to I do a ton of half moons, holding my legs up there for 10 breaths, and then balancing warrior and things like that to really work on the strength in the hips. But then also, this is where I'm going to throw in some of my yin practice, probably usually just once a week. So my strengthening and my cross training is that in my yoga practice, I'm going to start adding more strength.
Right, and balance. Yeah, balance is super important if you're a runner. That was the thing that I was really lacking because I was teaching a lot of yoga, but I was teaching really quick-paced yoga where you're not holding things for a really long time. And then, like I said, I wasn't doing anything to really build as much strength. So I was just constantly just putting all that. It's just impact, and like I got hurt.
And I really do prefer a slower practice. And that doesn't make it easier.
It doesn't make it easier at all. I think people are maybe more drawn to the faster practice if they're newer because, like we said before, they think they want to burn more calories, but also it's less boring to newcomers. I think that's what ends up happening in a class where you're maybe holding longer. I think people, if they're newer, that's when they're going to start to get a little chattery, get the monkey mind going, and I think that's when people are like, somebody talk to me.
Right. And honestly, I might, because I think that sometimes in like a vinyasa class, there's a lot of choreography. Like,
it does connect in this position.
Yeah. So, I mean, I might almost recommend, like, if you're looking for something like that, take a dance class.
Yeah, that's a really good idea,
Because then you're going to get fun music. It is more active. And personally, I just feel like a yoga class, I don't want to dunk all over all types of yoga, but I just consider something else other than a fast-paced yoga practice, because also, and I talk about this with some of my other students, like in a faster-paced class, all of a sudden you're in this pose, and the minute that you think you figure it out, you're on to something else.
Right.
You haven't even really gotten a chance to be in the pose and figure it out. So.
Right. I think that's what yoga has kind of turned into over the years, is mastering the transitions between poses more than mastering the poses, which you can definitely build some core strength doing that, but I don't think that's like the whole point of yoga, is to just...
It's not like Tai Chi. Like Tai Chi has this like, these beautiful like movements, and you're going into things and all this stuff, and that's yoga's not choreographed like that. I mean, it's not a dance production. It's not a performance.
No, and it definitely has turned into that. I know we talk a lot about the Instagram yoga thing. I think that's become a really big piece of yoga culture now. Is it's take a fraction of a second, and you'll be able to find the Instagram yogis with their flow sequences on there, and it's like 20 poses in 1 minute or something like that. And it is very much like. Okay, so to back up with that, if they feel really good in their bodies doing that, and they feel really good doing that, that's cool. But I think for the average person that's seeing that, it leads to a lot of misconceptions, it leads to a lot of body shame for them, and then it leads them to think they can't do yoga. So there's like two sides of that. Like there's the side where my brain wants to say, if that makes them happy, that's fine. And if they feel good, go for it. But then the other part of that is, if you're going to do that, add in something in the little caption about how to warm up. Add in something in a little caption about how I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yes.
And P.S. I'm also a gymnast and was, since I was 4.
Yeah.
So it's just
Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing that gets me, and that's what gets other people, and it keeps people out of class, is that just like anything else on social media, we're only seeing people at their best and what they want us to see. And
nobody wants to see.
Although
we do want to see you if you fall down.
Yeah, we do like that. Yeah, I did challenge a friend of mine. This friend of mine, she challenged me to one of these Insta yoga challenges, and it was arm balances. And I got like 2 or 3 in, and I was like, nah, I can't do this. Like I couldn't do like a bunch of them, just reasons. And I was just running out of time. And then I said to her, I was like, what I would really love is if somebody did one of these and they only posted bailing or falling, and so her and I did this. We kind of exchanged texts back and forth for a few days of us failing miserably at getting into these arm balances. So I'd get a text from her like falling on her face, and it was the best thing ever. And I would like to see something like that on yoga, like yoga, not even to be funny, but to be real, just like yoga fails. I would love to do that.
Seriously, because I mean, truly, like if you're doing the pictures on your own, you've got your 10 seconds that you have to get into your pose. I need more than 10 seconds to get into a pose and not hurt myself.
And here's a secret. Most of them are doing a video, and then they're screen capping at the peak pose. And then people that don't do yoga or don't understand yoga are like, oh my God, they're doing that pose, and they've been in that pose for like 10 minutes. They're so amazing. It's like,
that's even how Iyengar did his book. Like he's like balancing on his head, and then all of a sudden, not Iyengar, Patati Joyce. They're like doing their poses, these fancy poses, like the headstand with no arms, where you're like this, like sit upside down.
That makes my vertebrae cringe.
I know, but he was in the pose for like a second, and then he fell out.
Yeah.
But that's because they got that 1 second picture.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, that's how Instagram works too.
Yes.
And when you see the flows, when you see the pictures, you're getting maybe one of like 500 edits.
Right.
Like a selfie or like anything else we see.
I'm not going to give you my bad duck face.
Right.
Because nobody wants to see that. Or maybe they do.
Maybe that needs to be my resolution, is to just only post me failing at yoga poses or doing things really poorly.
The very first picture, the trash picture, post that.
Yes, that should be a challenge.
Like your attempt to, like when you're up at the camera, like, what?
Yeah,
like that's your.
I want to see that.
This is my pose for the day.
Maybe that needs to be the Yoga Happiness Insta challenge. Just like,
what's your first picture in your yoga challenge?
Yeah, like we give you the pose name, and then you have to post the worst one.
And like,
you did it the worst.
It's you actually getting here, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like Bigfoot pictures.
I would love that.
I think we should.
I might start it.
I'm all about it. Okay, I think we've. Anything else? I mean, I think I just worked up a sweat talking about it.
I know. I guess the takeaway is
you need more than yoga.
You need more than yoga, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be. I think people get really bummed out by exercise in our culture, and that makes me sad, because moving your body should feel good, and it should be something that you do to celebrate having a body and being able to do things, and that's going to keep you alive longer. It's going to keep you healthier longer. It's going to help you prevent falls as you get older. So even if you think of it from that standpoint, I think we've kind of gotten into this mindset where it's like all or nothing. It's like either you're going to the gym 7 days a week or you're not going to do anything because exercise sucks. I need exercise. So find something that doesn't suck.
Right. What do you enjoy? Like, you know what I want to do? I want to do curling.
I still don't understand the reasons behind curling.
I don't care, but the pants.
The pants.
And then like you get all serious about being a groomer.
I wonder, do you think it's really heavy? Is it like
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's a curling team here in Columbus. I want to do it.
Yeah. So find your own weird thing.
Yes. Or what do you enjoy doing?
Take a walk. Like you can take a walk, and everyone's like, "Oh, I don't have 30 minutes." Okay, but do you have chunks of time, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes
over the course of the day?
I used to do that. I had a desk job, and I was there all day. So over the course of the day, I would take. I mean, people take smoke breaks. Talking about the smoke break thing, I would take 10 minutes, just take a walk.
Yeah.
And then come back, and then I was recharged for work.
Yeah.
And over the course of the day, I would get in like 30 minutes walking. And it was super easy. Right. Even if it was like 5 chunks. I mean, that's still, enough to get the oxygen going and you just feel better.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be torture.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. We'll respond either in there or in a video. And if you enjoyed this, please click like or subscribe. And also, please check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/yogahappiness. Become a supporter and you'll get streaming videos, AM classes, as well as coming up here starting, we'll probably already be past it, but you can still join. The Learner Series on Wednesday evenings will also be a streaming class for patrons at the $20 per month level and above. We will be getting merchandise very soon. Lucky Dog T-shirts is in the middle of creating our website, and we're going to have Yoga Rebels T-shirts and Yoga Happiness T-shirts and mugs and sweatshirts, and I'm so excited. So anyway,
So exciting.
thanks. Have a wonderful day. See you guys next time. Bye.